right? We not having that. We want to build a community, forever. Kids win, we win. Period. Welcome everybody to another episode of A.M.University. I'm your host, Antoine Miller. Episode 40.
40.
What you got?
Maybe Gail Sayers?
You're Googling this stuff, ain't you?
Nah, not 40.
We getting these numbers. You got basketball 40?
Well,
I got one right on the back that played. Look at that. Look at that.
Ooh.
Even one closer.
Ooh.
Did he play with you? Harrison Barnes?
Yeah.
He was on that scene?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's a lot of 40s,
There
bro.
we go, Jay.
What's up, Wayne?
Ain't chilling.
How your day going, brother?
Man, I'm doing very good, actually. I mean, I got my beloved over here. I mean, we good.
Anytime he say something like that, Jason, he must be doing really good. He don't never talk like that starting off. Jason Thompson.
Yes, sir.
What's up, brother?
What's good with you, man? It's good to be back home.
Yeah. Good to have you on, man. Good to have you on. Let me run down his little career real quick, cause I've been
in this game a while, man.
You've been playing a long time, bro. Been playing a long time. So, Lenape, 2004 state championship. You went to Rider, averaged 20 and 10 when you started getting in your prime in college, getting busy. 12th overall pick of the Sacramento Kings, lottery pick. 2015 champion with the Warriors. Had an 8-year NBA career, finished out in Toronto. Now you playing overseas and you in China right now, right?
Right.
You're in China right now. So, yeah, man. So, not very often that we get a person. We like to be really diverse on this show and like just try to hit basketball from every single angle possible because, I mean, quite honestly, man, people don't understand. Like parents, players, coaches, they all think they got a black and white scenario of what basketball is and not understanding the whole 360 lens of it, So we want to bring as many diverse people on as possible, So from an NBA standard and an overseas standard, you've seen a lot,
Sure.
You played with a lot of and played against a lot of great players, So we just want to pick your brain on some things, man. Just want to pick your brain on some things. So let's start from it's up to you when you say this, but when did you know that you really had a chance to be successful? Like I really might have a chance of going to the league and being good at it because, it ain't no disrespect to Rider, but it is what it is. Rider's a low Division I college, and anywhere not many people go to the league, let alone a lottery pick,
right.
And you did that from Rider, right? So when did you know, like, wait, hold on, I really might have a chance of this? And again, if it's when you was doing what you was doing against Canada High, that could be an answer also, because that don't happen often as well. But I'll let you go.
Yeah, for me, I guess my journey is just a little bit different. Being in Mount Laurel and going to Lenape. In high school, I grew 9 inches, so that was tough for me. Just being a guard and having that mindset, and then being the tallest one on the team at 6'6". My freshman year I was 5'11", then I was 6'3".
It was your sophomore to junior year that all happened, right?
Yeah, 6'3", sophomore year, 6'6", my junior year, and then 6'8" my senior year. So I'm going from a point guard, shooting guard to the starting center within a few years. And like I said, everyone, obviously that's a dream for a lot of people, but for me it was growing pains and just kind of learning my game and the ins and outs. So that's why I went to Rider, being close to home, and I had a lot of mid-majors like Niagara and Siena, Central Connecticut, and I had the Villanovas and the higher schools that wanted me to kind of develop. At the time I was 6'8", 190. So that I didn't have any type of muscle or anything like that. So I was still growing into my body. Still had to put on some weight. But like I said, I had that mindset, on the team at Rider where there was like 8 seniors on the team. So I was being the energy guy, and I always tell kids this all the time. We were expected to be really good, and at the time we were struggling. And you know, it's one of them games where you're supposed to win and you don't, and everyone in the locker rooms has their head down, and then everyone's just going around the room talking. And I remember they were like, "Hey, the freshmen, you got anything to say?" And I was just like, "Yo, like we're bringing energy off the bench. I love my role. I love being on this team, but we'll get the lead back or be up, and then when you guys come in the game, you guys are not showing the right body language, and to keep that same type of energy." And I remember, and like I said in a respectful way. I wasn't coming at guys, pointing at them or anything like that.
What you just said was pretty respectful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the next morning, the coach said, "I hope you got walk with that talk. You starting tomorrow."
Wait, because hold on. Now I got to go back for a second. So as a freshman, you made the choice to do that. To talk because, again, most people as a freshman or underclassman, I'm going to get in where I'm fitting. I'm going to shut up, Like, you could have went that route.
Right.
Even if he asked you. You could have said,
and I could have said, "Hey, I'm better than y'all, this and the third." But I was being real respectful, and I was just, letting know the situation.
Yeah.
And like I said, by me speaking up, I started. We won the game. I had a double-double, and I started every game ever since, years later. You know what I mean? So that's why I try and tell kids nowadays, man, speak up in a respectful way, and, like, let your coach know. A lot of kids nowadays, if they're not getting the playing time or if they're not getting the looks that they deserve and stuff like that, they put their head down and they don't, do the little things with, the work. They're going home and they're always pointing the finger, but they never look at themselves in the mirror like, am I putting the work in each and every day?
Right.
On and off the court, to be able to coach, he has to play me regardless because he knows that I'm the hardest worker and I'm the best player on the team.
Right. There you go.
You know what I mean?
I was going to say, everybody can't go that path and say that to coach. Like, JT might can, because you knew you was
but like I said,
better.
like I said, I didn't go to coach. It was like us.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, like, pretty much what you said was what the coach already was thinking. So when you said it, he was like, "Oh shit, my team, my player is on the same page. Matter of fact, you starting."
Yeah.
Like, he been wanting to say it, but he didn't want to see it.
He didn't think that for no reason.
You know what I mean? So when you said it, it was like, "Oh shit, okay, well."
And that sparked us that year going.
And you was ready. And you was ready.
Exactly. Yeah.
You was ready.
We went to the championship that year too, and it beat a lot of expectations. So then eventually, I come in at like 6'8", like 190, and then going into my sophomore, junior year, I start my average is starting going up, my rebound started going up. I'm starting to bring those guard skills that I had when I was young into post skills, bringing the ball up, getting double, finding an open guy. And for me to say that is, now NBA scouts are starting to come to my games, my junior year. And eventually they're like, "Hey, if you really want to legit be, into the league, you just got to put on, some muscle." And I said, "Man, how hard I work, that's all you got to tell me."
Yeah.
So I went from being 6'8", 190, graduating at 6'11", 250. You know what I mean? So I put 60 pounds on in 4 years. You know what I mean? So that's all pretty much I needed to hear. And like I said, I kept getting better each and every year, kept putting the work in. It wasn't something where, my junior year I averaged 20 and 10. I'm okay with that. Nah, the next year I averaged 21 and then was second in the country in rebounding. So just kept going at guys. I got to play Mike Beasley, which showcased myself. We played in the Thanksgiving tournament on ESPN, which we were starting to get more ESPN games. We played really well. I did my thing as well too. So the more and more games we were going, the more our games were being sold out. People were coming to watch this small team, from New Jersey.
Right.
And it was a heck of a year. We ended up winning 11 games in a row and, beating all these records and stuff like that too. And then I had my brother, playing with me as well too.
Right.
So like I said, after that, I started knowing that, I'm here. I got invited to LeBron James Skills Academy, which is like the top players, prospects coming in. And also Amari Stoudemire, which is the best big man in the country. So this was where, all right, now, because everyone kept saying, like you were saying, like, hey, this is a guy that's putting up big numbers at a small school. What can he do against the best of the best? Held my own, was doing a thing, and then this is where I started becoming on the radar in these camps.
You just got me thinking about a whole different, like because it's like, so you had the confidence because of the work you put in.
For sure.
the entire time, no matter who they had you up against, you went into it confident because of the work you put in.
You ever felt pressure?
It's crazy. I feel like I didn't really start feeling that until like when social media and stuff like later on. Like I honestly like even people say, hey man, like you had it because like I said, my rookie year I averaged like 12-7, and everyone was like, yo man, like. And I didn't feel fear. Like the third game of the season we played against the Sixers, I had my whole family. At the time, the Sixers weren't even that good. And then I had more fans than they did, like coming to support me. I just never felt like, like that pressure. It was just like, you know what, just do what I'm able to do. But every time, like you get drafted that high at that school, then we go into Summer League in Vegas. So now the spotlight's on you. Did we make the right pick? You gotta do your thing in Vegas. Then it's like, all right, bow, first game of the season. Bow, my coach get fired mid-season. Now you got to go through another offense and stuff like that too.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you got to be able to worry about yourself and make sure you're putting the work in, and everything else will come.
While you was going through your NBA scouting thing, did they ever ask you about me? What happened to the Bull Wayne from Canada? No.
He said, they used to say Wani Jr. I remember we played against y'all freshman year.
All right, man.
But like I said, we had the scouting on y'all and we had to give y'all business. Give that the work against Canada.
I ain't never. Nah, you started it, bro. I never saw nobody do that to a Canada High team, bro.
That's enough.
That was a massacre. But okay, you want to leave it alone. All right. So. Again, I'm pretty sure you could give me a whole bunch of different scenarios of what this is like, but and you, by all means, you tell me whatever one you want. But what's the day in the life of an NBA player?
I would say like during the season, say you have one day is practice. You wake up and nowadays I feel like every health and nutrition and and all the teams are high end. So now the teams have chefs, so you don't even really have to cook at your house. Like you could just go into the practice facility. You have the chef make an omelet or whatever you're into or whatever. Say you have practice at like 1 o'clock. If you get your lift in before or extra conditioning depending on what shape you're in, so then you do that, you get practice, then you get the lift in afterwards, you get certain treatments to make sure that your body is right. 82 games is a long season. And then, like you said, depending on if you have a family or whatever, then you have a lot. I mean, technically you have a lot of free time just depending on what type of work you put in.
That's why I asked
most of us, I would come in at times at night, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, get some extra shots up, game situations, the assistant coaches, you have their number and they're very cool with
accessible.
Yeah,
Any
exactly.
Day, any day, anytime.
Yeah, exactly. So it's for the most part, as long as it's a good time, then I would have some of the homies come up, and then like they'll get rebounds from me and stuff like that, just depending on how your schedule is.
So that's that sounds like a really professional schedule.
Yeah.
That started.
And then a game day, and then a game day would be. You wake up, you do the same thing, you have shoot around, you eat, you go have shoot around, you go over the team's plays, and then say if it's a 7 o'clock game, 7 p.m. game, you have shoot around maybe 10 o'clock, it'd probably be like 1 hour and a half, 2 hours. Then you have mad time in between to either take a nap or do whatever you got to do, and then you come in. The earliest or the latest you can come in, say for a 7 o'clock game, is 5:30. All players got to be in the arena an hour and a half before, or you get fined. But most of the time, you'll have a certain coach that you'll come in a little bit, obviously, before then, get your work in, maybe 20, 30 minutes working on your type of things. That's why if you watch a game, you see guys going through their routines and stuff.
Right.
And then after that's done, the coach will talk. You do layup lines. You probably come back maybe in one more time, and then get ready for the game.
From seeing what you saw, like, is that a normality about people coming early? Like, how many players have you seen with your own eyes that come about 4 o'clock that's getting that work, that extra work?
Yeah, unfortunately, the squad, Sacramento I was on, it was a team up and coming, like kind of
young
team.
guys.
a lot of young guys. So I don't think you got to see it as much. But I learned from guys like Francisco Garcia, who was a vet, who pretty much helped me out mentally, knowing what to do to be able. And he's like, yo, man, if you're trying to, the average amount of years guys stayed in the league was about 4 years. And he's like, you trying to stay longer, here are the things that you need to do and focus on. So I took a lot of information that he said to heart and made me into the player and the pro that I am today.
So obviously you don't need to say no names, but so I know it's a flip side to that regimen as well, that schedule that you're talking about as well. Like you obviously you were a perfectionist about your craft. This is a profession and I'm treated as such. But I know, again, you don't have to do any of those things that you just said. Right. For the most part, you gotta be there, like you said, 5:30. So what's the flip side to that guys could go as far as a route, as far as their daily regimen? Because and the reason I ask, it's not for fun and games, is because it's important, right? Like kids have just as much freedom as well. They got the choice to go to the weight room, they got the choice to get a trainer, right, or they got the choice to get a job. Some of them would just want to get a job and they'll show up when the season starts in high school. And I'm like, okay, that's an option.
Right.
And I'm never going to tell you not to get your money. Like, however, the season's coming regardless.
Somebody's gonna get better.
It's coming regardless.
Right.
And you gotta go up against that monster over there twice a year in your conference, something like that, whatever like that, right? So we all got choices. So what's the other route you could take usually that as far as in the league, as far as
well, some guys are just gonna do their own things and they'll have even their own trainers, and each team has a strength and conditioning coach. But like I said, like numbers don't lie, and then the eye test doesn't lie either. So, if also what they do, strength and conditioning coach, they'll check for weight and body fat and stuff like that. So if and it's like frequently, it's probably like once a week or once every 2 weeks. But this is important because you can't say that you're eating good, but then you just put on 10 pounds. But like I said, if you put on 10 pounds, but then your body fat is down, then it's good. Obviously, that means you got muscle. But everyone's body is different. So, some guys' metabolism is really fast. So they can eat crazy. Like some guys be eating, fast food all the time, but then they break that joint down in a second. Some guys want Chick-fil-A and all this and the third, and then it shows on their body.
Right.
But if it shows on your body and then you're producing, then it's one thing.
Right.
But if it's affecting how you playing or if you're getting injured, then you know what I mean. Like I said, your body is a machine, and the only way for you to play at the maximum level is how you take care of it. So, like I said, there's no perfect. Like,
different strokes.
Yeah, people drink.
Yeah.
People do whatever you do, and then nowadays, weed is legal in the NBA. You know what I mean? But if it's gonna give you munchies and you put on extra weight at night,
make you eat.
Exactly. Then there's to each his own for certain players.
Right.
So look, right, we had Samaj on. He said sometimes if you wasn't playing up to par or didn't win, you wouldn't get paid. Does the NBA ever do that, or do they kind of like make the referees say like give him a fine so we don't have to pay him his check today?
Nah, in the NBA they can't do that.
Straight lace?
Yeah, they can't do that. It's more it's the first and the 15th, or just depending on how you get. But like I said, they for sure get like. But in the contract, if it's a guy like that's overweight, like say like Big Baby.
Okay.
Like I think he had somewhere one of the years in his contract where he had to be under a certain weight, and if he wasn't, he'd get fined, and if he was, he'd get a bonus.
Okay.
Now to some, they'd be like, "Dang, why I don't get that bonus?" But like I said, it's just different. It's different motivation for different players.
Incentives.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I said, it's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. So I'm almost certain that you probably added on years to your NBA career because you found a niche, right? Like you found a place that suited you. And again, I'm gonna go back to, it ain't necessarily kids. It's everybody that play basketball. Everybody want to be what they got premeditated in their mind, right? The problem with that is only one basketball, right?
Right.
We all got to have a role, So talk about, because it seemed like you knew that at a fairly young age. Talk about that and the importance of just finding your role.
Yeah, I think
it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's real important. I mean, for me, coming from college and even in my first couple of years in the league, I was a double-double type guy. Unfortunately, even in those 7 years in Sacramento, I had 7 different coaches.
How many?
So 7 in one organization. I don't think anybody can say that in that amount of time. Who knows? I think God makes no mistakes, but who knows what I could have done even better than what I've done, with the success that I've had, if I had a coach, which they do nowadays, that, even Brent Brown was there for how long, and the Sixers were not good. Then those later years he was there. So mine fired. Like I said, 7 coaches in 7 years, to the point where you don't know it's a new system each and every year. You know what I mean? And then different teams. What we talked about earlier. I had different teammates each and every year. Blockbuster trades where not just 2 or 3 guys are leaving, 5, 6 players, and 5 to 8 players are coming in. And like I said, this is not winning basketball, hence why we never won with that organization.
Well, I used to win with you on 2K with Tyrese Evans and you.
Right. So
before you keep going, how did you deal with that mentally? 82 games is a long season.
Yeah.
You ain't used to losing.
Right, exactly, yeah. Because I came from winning. So that was the toughest. And I remember even during the media, they would always say, like, it's tough for Thompson because he's always been around winning. But like I said, and later on, you kind of learn, like, at the end of the day, winning is important. Because like I said, I would come back home and they're like, yo, man, heck of a year. You doing your thing. I see you killing. And then they're like, yo, but what's up with the play? I'm like, only certain teams can make the playoffs, but everything got to be consistent to be able to do it. But at the end of the day, I survived, meaning I did what I was supposed to do.
Yes, you did.
So you can be able to be in the league again and sign a 5-year deal and all these type of things too.
What's that rare stat?
Survival of the fittest, low key, because like I said, that's where I seen guys try to fit in with the team. It kind of backfires at times because it might put your production down. And if your coach is not using you the way that you are, because like I said, even when I was in the league, most of the thing I was doing, and that was during that era of basketball, was post moves and mid-range. If you give me the ball in the mid-range, but not even 3, mid-range. I would shoot the draw in the mid-range and I would start running back on defense knowing it was going in because I perfected my craft that much. But now look at it. They don't even shoot mid-range jump shots now.
You wasn't a part of that stretch group? Like to the 3?
No, eventually I was. But I'm saying when I first, because in college I was shooting the 3.
But it wasn't the
bringing the ball up.
Oh, okay.
As I'm saying, because if you look at it, in the West, it was Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol. None of them were shooting 3s.
No.
I had Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan.
No.
I had, Dirk and Tyson Chandler. Obviously, Dirk is Dirk, but he was a special breed.
Yeah.
Then you had LaMarcus Aldridge and either Marcus Camby or Greg Oden. These are all guys in the West where those were the 4s and the 5s where it was like muscle,
every
mid-range all
night.
the time. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So even the people were there asking me, yo, who's the toughest guy you got to guard? I'm like, yo, I'm in the West. But at the end of the day, you got to go at them and make them play and go at them too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
what's that rare stat you got when you went to Toronto, when you like the most playoff games played?
Yeah, I was one of the ones where I played the most games and didn't have a playoff
appearance.
Playoff appearance. But now someone
I
broke that though. Yeah,
like Bree Batsudi on the playoff team
because it was right. I didn't get to the playoffs until my eighth season, which is crazy. Which sounds crazy.
Well, it's nature of the beast.
Was Vince Carter there?
Nah, Vince was in I think Dallas at the time. Yeah.
So you just brought up an interesting thing. Transition to this next question. You playing against that type of talent every night, like, whew. So you was also there with Kobe,
right?
Like, because you played most of your career on the West Coast, so y'all play 4 times a year, right? So I'm sure you saw something that was just, I don't know, it did something to you, like you can always take away from greatness, even if people don't talk to you directly.
Yeah, that's
how I look at it. So like, give us a memory that you had of Kobe, like that he was like,
wow, or rest in peace to him.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it even hit a little bit differently from him being, you know, from Philly and in this area and stuff like that too. I think my mentality is even crazy because, you know, I respected all the Hall of Famers that I played against, and I seen guys interview him. It's like, yo, it's gonna be great to play against this dude, but I feel like that's like the vets smell blood. They be like, oh, this dude kind of like,
fan.
yeah, because like I said, one of my teammates who I won't say was like, yo, man, Tim Duncan, and I love Tim Duncan. But I would never say that in the interview talking about him. I would give him all praise, but I would never be like, yo, man, I look up to this guy.
Brad Miller told you that?
And then he went at him.
Brad Miller
he was
told you
killing
that?
him. Yeah, huh?
Brad Miller told you not to say that?
No, it wasn't him. But like I said, I would say, you know, and also, too, for me to say that is I played for Sacramento, and then Kobe was with the Lakers, which Sacramento fans despise.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah.
Was Shaq owning y'all yet?
Interviews and stuff like that, Kobe would, you know, mention me and all those type of things, too. But it was more of not like, yo, it was you know what I mean? Like, tons of conversation and stuff like that. Like, I wasn't around them that much. But I would say, you know, I know one of the games we played against him, and I just don't, out of all the people you leave this dude open, and then he hit a shot right in front of the bench at the buzzer, and just look at him, he just like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, it's the work ethic he had, man, and that Mamba mentality of where he came from, coming out of high school, and you know, all those times if he was going to leave the team, he stayed a Laker, stayed faithful, and won 5 chips, man. So, and like I said, he won a chip even without Shaq, which, you know, people said that he couldn't do.
Did Shaq own y'all ever when you was there? Did Shaq have a part of the Sacramento franchise when you was there?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
You know he only did that for Kobe because he know Kobe hated Sacramento. So
I don't think that's the reason, but
that's the only one he can afford.
But I mean, nah, because, you know, like, that's why D Wade is like the owner of like the Jazz. Like, it's just,
really?
You know, everybody would think that he would be with the Heat. Yeah, but like I said, it's just the opportunities. And
the Jazz?
Yeah, I knew that. What?
It's just the opportunity that you get and stuff like that. Because everyone was like, yo, why not the Heat? But if the Heat would have offered him, then he would have took it.
Yeah,
so,
owners is owners.
Did Diesel ever come down and work with you with your right shoulder, left shoulder?
Nah, I would say at the time he wasn't like that hands on,
Gotcha.
You know, with the organization, especially when I was there.
Because you played with some killers, JT. I've been watching your highlights. Like, you played against Melo when he played for the Knicks when he first got there, and he gave Melo problems.
And Nuggets.
You played with you played against Golden State when they you know what I mean? Like, you played against some people.
He was on the team too. He was a champion.
He was on.
No, I was going to tell you I didn't win.
Oh, you
I
did?
didn't win. Yeah, I wasn't there. I was there the year after they won.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just tell me about some killers and just the different levels of like player. How do it look? How would it be?
I would say, like, someone asked me who's like the best you know, teammate that I had or best superstar, and I would say it was, you know, Steph. Like, he's just a real humble superstar. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just think that
you always wanted to play with me, didn't you?
That's what that means. That's what that means to Wayne. That's what that means to Wayne.
If you were secret,
we went undefeated my senior. So if anything, you wanted to come over to Leonard, but it's all good.
Find that dude, Craig. I've never seen anybody guard you like him in my life.
Craig is I still talk to Craig, what up? Yeah, he live in Sacramento out of all places now too. That's just crazy.
Man, that's Wayne Kryptonite, boy. I've never seen nobody do that to you. But you came up with a good point. Let's transition into that. So, again, man, with kids, just NBA dreams is fine, right? But my thing with that is you need to understand what type of water you trying to get into, right? Like, again, you played 8 years. Talk about just this pure skill set of NBA players and how different it is from the rest of the world. Like, just put it in perspective on camera because you did it for a while. Like, and I'm sure you even being a vet, you was like, damn, he still made it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing to do, and I think now, since I'm going into year 14, I look back and appreciate the grind even more. Like there's a lot of like things that people can name or accolades or something that I accomplished, and at the time I just smile and be like, yo, that's what's up. But now I actually am like, yo, like, you know what I mean? If I go back to college or I go back to the league and stuff like that, like I go and I appreciate it a little bit more. During those times, you can't even really appreciate it just because of how, like, it's survival, man. Like, honestly.
You working hard.
Because at the end of the day of how, you know, there's plenty of stars that had a star year one year, and the next year you don't even hear about it. But like I said, that's how hard it is because somebody's coming the next season younger, faster, stronger. Because at one point, I was that guy coming in, and I was the rookie taking guys' spots and minutes. And like I said, I didn't even realize that. I didn't really realize. I mean, I've been humble, man, and blessed, but I didn't realize like to not even play major minutes until like later in my NBA career. Like not middle school, not high school, not college. Like, and then it was like year 5 or 6 in the NBA where I was just like, all right, like, but even then I was getting older, you know what I mean? But like that was the point where I wasn't playing like 28 to 30 minutes. So like you said, like, and that's how hard I had to work each off season just to make sure that I was sharpening my craft and making sure that I was trying to stay injury free. And those are the things that people may not see because it's behind the scenes, but people don't need to see that because that's how you know what I mean? But nowadays too, we didn't really grow up in that social media. Right. I'll never forget when Twitter first started. I was a rookie. I texted the media dude for the Kings. It was like, yo, this is what I did today. Pretty much what I told you.
It went on Twitter.
And he put it on Twitter. Yeah, he did it for me because it really wasn't even an app yet. This is a website. And I was like, I texted him, and next thing you know, he tweeted it. And now, you know, all you gotta do is you can hit a wrong button or a wrong picture, and it's on Twitter like this. You know what I mean? Or Instagram and stuff. A kid can from Pensacola High or something like that can have one good game, and it be on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he think that he the next whoever.
Scary, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and he'll put that on there, and he doesn't know actually what. And then you look at it, and nobody's playing defense, and he really think he that good. But I'm saying, like, that's the downfall of social media part.
Briggs.
You know what I mean? So.
Damn. What about Jimmer Fredette? Was he actually a good basketball player?
He was, man. He was put in a tough situation. He's actually my teammate in China as well too.
Tell him I said what's up, man. I can play him 1-on-1 anytime he ready.
I don't know if you want them.
Him more stuff.
He can shoot mad threes.
Him more stuff. We can do whatever we want.
Bro, these dudes are special, bro.
Yeah. But like I said, he was put in a tough situation, and we didn't have the best of teammates to
embrace him.
Vets at the time to help him, you know, through that process. And like I said, there's a bunch of players that was in Sacramento, man, and they just were put in tough situations and didn't probably have the careers that they wanted, or they left and then had better careers.
Yeah. Before I get to what you're doing in the community, you just made me think about one more question. How did you handle the media? Because again, with I talked about, you know, handling losing. Or just handling the NBA lifestyle for so long, you become fatigued, right? You gotta do media sessions after every game.
For sure.
After every game.
Yeah.
Like, how did you go into that?
It's tough. I mean, like when you're young, you know, I always wanted to kind of just be around it, just because, like, even in college, my major was TV radio.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I was kind of prepared myself even before.
Okay.
How to answer questions and stuff, and everybody always wants the real, but then, you don't learn the real until you can get fined or say something. And that's why, you know, it's so media friendly now with, like, guys say something about their teammate and then they make it into something bigger than what it was. But like I said, at the end of the day, you know, you got to be the pro's pro and be able to handle, you know, the great games and the bad ones. Because like I said, it's easy to be rah-rah when everything is going good, but how are you going to react when stuff is bad, you know? So, and sometimes, you know, and you've seen, you know, Westbrook and some other players and Kyrie and all those type of things react, but they got to know some of them don't know because they never hoops before. So then somebody will ask a question and you'd be like, yo, have you ever touched a basketball? You know what I mean? So, and then also too, the other side of it is they have a job as well too. So, you know, sometimes we'll look back at an interview we did and be like, all right, you know what, we got to change.
Are they doing their job though? And I asked you this because of what you just said prior. Like, this is my opinion. I think 95% of reporters, they want to be you. They wanted to be a professional basketball player. Facts. And they angry at the world that they wasn't. And I just got this job. Right. So I want to antagonize you the entire time. And that's not journalism to me. It's a way to answer questions in a professional manner, even if you got to ask the tough questions. But be professional about it. I think from what I see, that's almost extinct, in my opinion.
Well, you know, because nowadays, and I think you're right, but nowadays they know what's going to click and they know what's going to be trendy, and it's going to be a terrible question. You'd be like, yo, this dude they ain't supposed to be pros. You know what I mean?
So
and
they ask
professional and they ask a crazy question, and then sometimes they ask questions they know the answer to. You know what I mean?
Especially during playoffs, right?
Of course they tempt the players to say something crazy.
Especially during playoffs, right? There's always the same redundant questions.
For sure,
like
for sure. Yeah.
What
and like
y'all
I said,
do
like
game
if you see after the game where Bron, you know, where they just got smacked by the Suns or whatever, Bron was like, yo, we got to ask it. It's an easy way of not asking another question. Like, yo, what was the problem? It's like, yo, we got to ask it. Yo.
You give them everything they want in that one question.
Because some games like that, you just got to burn the tape.
Right.
Because every John, like, bro, as pros, man, I've been in field sessions for 5 hours, bro. The coach will literally stop every play and then rewind it. Stop that play and rewind it. Sometimes it'd be an hour, you only went through 3 plays.
But they're serious though.
Yeah. But I'm saying this is part of being pros too. Everybody just think that when you out here they just hooping. Nah, you gotta prepare for the other team. You gotta know your offense, which you might have 40 plays. They got to worry about their offense, which they probably got 40 plays. And then you got to have instinct. You know what I mean? So, of course, there's no excuses or it's a blessing. But these kids nowadays, man, have to understand how hard it is. And then when you're there, don't be trying to party and turn up. You're supposed to do that when you know you good. You know what I mean? Like, some cats be doing that, and they don't have no money. That's another topic, too. You know, when cats get drafted, say they make $1 million. Uncle Sam already cutting half of that. So it's 500. Then you need a crib. Then you need a car. And then most of us is taking care of our families too. You know what I mean? So then you chopping that in half too. You ain't gonna get your parents or your family no weak house.
When you say first and the 15, that means you don't get that 1 million straight.
Nah.
Check. You getting that first 15. You breaking that
chopping
up.
That. Yeah, they chopping.
What's
that
even
up.
worse? I think it's the worst thing that you can see what an NBA player makes online. Yes. I think that's a total travesty, bro.
Yeah.
How?
That's fool's gold.
But we have no idea what the government makes.
Right, that's true. I also think too, I mean, sometimes they don't be having the right numbers, but you're right. Like it shouldn't be on there at all. But I mean,
a family member or a friend see you and things like that, and I Googled this and they're like,
bro.
What?
They know everything, bro. They know where your first grade teacher. They know everything.
What's the difference between Bill Lane and all the NBA coaches you had?
That's a good question. I actually saw him last year. We talked for like 5 hours. I went to go eat and talk.
I came up.
Yeah, how we smacked y'all. Yeah. But nah, I mean, he was like a real X's and O guy, and it was a guy that like you had to buy in. Like we had the one incident where I guess everything happens for a reason, where our coach got fired and he came in, and
it's like an interim or like I'm the coach.
Nah, he came in as coach, but what he did, he's real old school. So as sophomores, we like, yo, we know we one of the top players on the team. He's like, nah, I'm gonna keep y'all together. Y'all just went undefeated freshman year. Not to bring that up again, because one of them games was against y'all. But then JV, like we was like, yo, we don't even play JV, but he stuck to it. He has a certain type of offense that we had to learn, and like I said, it all came together senior year, but we won a championship, we won undefeated.
Yeah, I
I'm
like
gonna let
that.
him get that
You
off
know, got
because
another one of them. You
I
got
don't
one of
have
them
my freshman year on
undefeated
camera,
L's too.
and he is an NBA player, so whoopie do.
At that time, I was not, but
Right. Nah,
but
don't try to say that.
At that
Try to
player,
make
he
it
was a
feel
lethal
better.
shooter, and
Don't try to make
he
it
say
feel
he was
better.
5'10", but I say 6'2".
I was my freshman year, 5'11". Yeah, that's crazy.
Let's end with this. So, and it's crazy because like I look at everything like so. Even when we was on the phone and we was talking about you coming through, everything went back to community
For sure.
with you. Like you never like, all right, but I want to talk about this. I'm saying I want to talk about what I'm doing in my foundation,
Yeah.
the JT Foundation, and so on and so on. And it always went back. And your demeanor is always humble, right? Like I don't care what nobody say, man, but when you get in those shoes with spotlight on you and things like that, it could create a monster, yo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you always seem to stay level-headed and just remember what's important. All right, so just talk about that, talk about your transition, and talk about the things that, you know, again, that's most important, you know, because all of this fades.
For sure. I just know when I was young, my grandmother always had me in the church, and we would go to like soup kitchens and stuff, and I just always wanted to help out as much as I could. I mean, it's not like I was in the best situation with my family as well, but I just knew that, you know, how I felt after I left there, and was just like, man, I feel bad for people that have to kind of go through that situation and stuff. And I said, if I ever, and this, like I said, this is when I was in like 5th grade, and I just knew anytime I could, if I can ever, you know, make it or whatever, I was going to be able to, you know, try and get back as much as I could. So my 2nd year in the NBA, my cousin, Tiffany Carroll, passed away with a certain heart disease. So I knew what a better way to relive her name than start a foundation to teach about heart health, to avoid obesity and diabetes and things like that. And she was the only female athlete of the family as well too. So, you know, I've been doing that for the past 10 plus years and raising awareness. We had a black tie event two years ago before COVID. That was a success. So we're trying to make that an annual thing. Live Like JT is just kind of a program to kind of give back to ones in need, and also give a voice to the young kids that want to be on the right path, but they just need kind of like my help or someone like that to kind of to push them in the right direction. So I've helped out a lot of kids. For Thanksgiving, we have a turkey and Thanksgiving drive that we do every year, and we did it. We went to like 6 different cities in Jersey. I think one of the years we did Camden, and looking to continue to be a part of that as well too.
You still doing anything with your brother? Was it Scoring Machine?
Yeah, Scoring Factory. We haven't.
Well, I'm not a part of that.
Well, anytime
You wasn't good enough score.
Crazy. Was I good enough
You
score?
didn't score 1,000.
Alright.
So then Christmas we do a shopping spree for kids as well too, and like I said, they go and then give, you know, some gifts to their families as well too, which is good. And then we just got done in another event 2 weeks ago, a bike event. You know, a lot of kids just want to play video games and stay in their house, especially during quarantine. So what a better way, you know, to give them bikes and have them stay active. So we bought them bikes and helmets, and you know, and like helped out the Boys and Girls Club as well too. So just 'cause, you know, it's always good too that people from different you know, towns in Jersey and stuff come and help all the time too, man. So like I said, it's always good to come back home and give back to ones that people that need it in the area that I grew up in.
Well, if you ever need any volunteers, Swan would love to do it.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know it was.
Speaker,
I didn't know it was that much.
I speak to the
you
kids,
know, and
tell
it's
them how hard it is to make it and shit.
And it just sounds like you serving, man. Like it. No, I mean we laughing, but that's your story, right? Like somebody could learn something from every single little thing that we do, you know. And just like you said, even by you, forget financial, even by you just saying something to a kid, it could change a kid's life forever.
Definitely.
Like it could change a kid's life forever. So like, you know, sitting here with you, man, we appreciate the things that you're doing, you know, because you don't have to do any of it. You know, none of us. We don't have to do any of it. We can all be selfish. Being selfish is the very easy way to go about life, you know. But you know, we all I can agree we all want change. You know, we all want to do our part, no matter how small or big it is. You know,
sure.
so basketball wise, you defeated the odds because what's the lifespan of an NBA player?
4 years.
4 years. I didn't even think it was that.
Yeah.
4 years. You know, so you surpassed that. You know, you serving the community, man. Again, like I always say, that's a definition of success to me, man.
Appreciate
So,
that, man.
like I
Appreciate
said,
you coming through.
Appreciate y'all
appreciate
having
you
me,
coming
man.
through.
For sure.
Appreciate you.
You
Set-
played
set-
it.
Setting it right with Wayne. Setting.
No.
We lost, bro.
No, we won.
We
Yo.
lost, bro.
I did a backflip at the end of the game. Right, Al?
No, don't let me go through the.
Yeah, you gotta go through it and come back.